Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for my palette rotation series project. So I have all 5 of my palettes stacked up here, but before we get into it, I do want to just say that this is probably going to be my last update for this project for a little while. I just haven't been enjoying it as much recently as I have in previous months, so I decided what would be best for me is to take at least a little break. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this project, and I'll definitely take your thoughts and ideas into consideration, but I think it's just best for me right now if I take a break from this project. It'll give me a chance to focus more on my Pan Those eyeshadows, which I have really been enjoying. So this is going to be kind of my little finale, if you will. So I'm going to go through the 5 palettes I had in for the projects, talk about the looks I created with them, and then talk about just some general palette usage for the month. Usually I do this part at the end, but since I'm not rolling in any new palettes, I thought I would just talk about these ones first. So the first palette I had in was my Wet n Wild Stop Playing Safe palette. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created with this one. So I realized I didn't say my rules with this project. It's super laid back. Basically, I just have to create one dedicated look with each of the palettes in this project. So for this look, I started out with this matte orange shade through the crease, deepened that up with, I believe I took a combo of these two. They're super close in color, so I just kind of mixed those together to slightly deepen the crease. I took this yellow shimmer all over the lid and into the inner corner, and then took this matte reddish shade and used that as winged liner. And I really loved how this look came out. Actually, it took me a while to work up the motivation to use this palette this past month, but I really loved the look I created. I thought the wing turned out like really nice and sharp, and I was just super impressed with it. So very happy that I did get a use out of this palette, and like I said, I just loved how it turned out. Next up is my Ulta Gryffindor palette. So here is what this one looks like on the inside, and I will insert a picture of the look I created. So I went a little darker and bolder with this look. I started with Mandrake through the crease, deepened that up with Autumn, and then Chocolate Frog, and I placed Chocolate Frog all over the lid as well, then topped that off with Cocoa, and then I brought those matte shades onto the lower lash line as well, and then put Passion in the inner corner. And this wasn't my favorite look with this palette, but I still had a fun time creating it, and I was really happy to get a dedicated use out of this Cocoa shade because it's not one I reach for a ton in this palette, but it's super beautiful, so I kind of wanted to use that one as the star of this look. So really happy that I got some use out of some of the shades in this palette that I don't typically reach for. And yeah, might not have been my absolute favorite look, but I still did enjoy it. Next up, we have my ABH Soft Glam palette. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created with this one. So I did kind of an all matte look with this one. I started with Orange Soda through the crease, deepened that up with Burnt Orange. I deepened that some more with Rustic and put that all over the lid as well. Then deepened the outer corner with Cypress Umber, and then put Tempera in the inner corner and kind of brought that up towards the brow a little bit in the inner corner there. So this one was really nice to get some use out of the matte shades within this palette. I don't know if you can see, but I have a lot of pans in this palette, and most of them are in the shimmers in here, so I kind of wanted to focus on the matte shades and show those ones some love. This palette has one of my absolute favorite formulas, so I really enjoyed using it this past month, and this was actually, I think, the last one I used for the month. I feel like I used it either the day of or the day before the last day of the month, so it took me a little while to actually get the use out of it, but I was really happy I did. Next up, we have my Nomad Okavango Safari palette. Is it Okavango or Okavango? I don't really know how to say it, but here is what this one looks like, and I will insert a picture of the look I created. So this was a super simple everyday look with this palette. I started with towering giraffes through the crease, used elusive leopards to deepen that, and then pack of wild dogs to deepen the outer corner. I may have taken a little bit of honking hippos to deepen the outer corner even more. I don't remember for sure though. And then I took this kind of pink shimmer shade and put that over the first 2/3 of the lid, and then did this one, Migrating Zebras, in the inner corner. And you can kind of see where I focus my brush in just the white portion of that shade, so it works as a nice brightening shade for the inner corner, because doing a full swatch of that, it's a little bit more silver, so I kind of wanted to just focus on the white. But I was super happy to have the chance to reach for this one again. This is a newer palette in my collection, and it was nice to get kind of an everyday dedicated use out of it. So very, very happy that this one got rolled in. I think this was my favorite one to reach for this past month. So yeah, very excited about that one. Alright, then on to the last palette for this project. This is my ColourPop Back to Hogwarts palette. So I will insert a picture of the look. So definitely my most simple. For this one, I mixed Marauder's Map and Enchanted Keys through my crease, packed gillyweed all over my lid, and then just put Lumos in the inner corner. Super, super simple. Did not use many shades, but just what I was going for that day, this look worked really well. So it isn't as in-depth as I feel like I could have gone or that I usually go, but I still did enjoy it. It was a fun little pop of green with gillyweed on the lid, so lots of fun to create this one as well. So those are my 5 looks with my 5 palettes that were in this project. Let me know which of the looks was your favorite, and we can get into talking about some palette usage. So first I want to talk about a couple palettes that I brought into my collection since last update. So I'm going to talk about the newest one first, and you'll see why in a second. So this one I actually just got at the very beginning of September, but this is the Nomad Ghost Town USA. I have done a 2 looks video with this last week. So here's what this one looks like on the inside. Absolutely gorgeous. I am loving the color story of this, and I've only used it a couple of times, but I really, really enjoyed it. So this is my newest palette in my collection. And then the other one I want to talk about, some of you might recognize as my own palette. So I created a makeup brand called Mockingbird Beauty, and I just launched this palette at kind of the middle of August, so I think it was August 15th that I launched. So this is my brand, my palette, and I'm so excited. I have a couple videos up using this palette. We are live, so if you are interested in purchasing your own, I always have the details in my description box. Just kind of scroll towards the bottom. I think you will find it down there. But here is the color story of this one. I'm super proud of this, and I hope you guys love it too if you're interested in purchasing it. If not, no worries. But yeah, this is my Mockingbird palette. So I now have a total of 77 palettes in my collection, I believe. And this past month I used a total of 34, which I was super proud of. That is the most palettes I've used in a month so far this year. And my most used, I think other than my own, would be the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. So this palette was in my Panos Eyeshadows project, and that update would be my previous video, I believe. So if you want to go check that out, please do. But I used this one 6 times this past month. And little spoiler, if you haven't watched that video yet, I did hit pan in the shade that I was trying to hit pan on. So that is one of the shades I have hit pan on this month. And that is a perfect segue. We will talk about the other shades I hit pan on because I have a few to talk about this month. So my next pan comes from my ABH Modern Renaissance palette, and I hit pan in Antique Bronze right here. I am super happy about this. This is one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. I just love the color story of it, but I feel like I've kind of been neglecting it a little bit, so it was really nice to pull it back out this past month and focus on getting a pan in that shade. It was just something I was naturally reaching for. It wasn't in a project or anything, but I am just super excited to see another pan in this palette. We are at 6 pans, almost halfway through it, and yeah, it's just so lovely to see so much progress on this palette. Next, we have my Glitter Realm A Whole New World palette, and the shade I hit pan on was Prince Ali. So as you can see, there is a pretty significant size pan in here. I honestly, when I first hit pan, I couldn't really tell if there was a pan, so I just kind of kept using it and expanded it to this size. So you can definitely see it now. This is a really nice all over the lid shade for neutral everyday looks, and it's one that I have used quite a bit within this palette. So I'm super happy that it is finally showing a pan that makes 4 pans within this palette. And lastly, we have my Nabla Poison Garden palette, and this one just got its first pan in Adoration. So this one is going to be a little bit harder to see, but this was a really nice inner corner shade. It does look really white in the pan, but it has some shifts of kind of a purplish pink tone color to it, which is super pretty. And the look I created, I posted on my Instagram. I was just in love with it. I kind of took this one all over the lid and up into like the inner portion of the crease, and then used some of the more purple shades as like a thick wing. It's on my Instagram if you guys want to go check it out, but I was in love with it, and this was a shade that I found super easy to use, and these seem to be very shallow pans, so it really did not take me super long to hit pan on. So I think that concludes my update. I will insert my pan percentage on the screen right now for you all to see. I am very happy with the progress I have made this past month, but like I said, I think it is time for me to take a break from this project. So I will kind of transition some of this, I think, into my Pan Those eyeshadows, particularly bonus pans. But other than that, let me know what else you would like to see from me. Let me know if you have any ideas for how to incorporate different eyeshadow projects that you would like to see. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. If you are interested, please go check out my Mockingbird beauty pages. All your support would mean the absolute world to me. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!